Hey, good evening. This is Amazon Jude coming to you from Casper. And today's date is March 1st, 2018. And this is my video journal of my journey through breast cancer. I had my first treatment yesterday. And here, let me grab my sheets here, so I can tell you girls what the meds I was on. I was two types of breast cancer. It was in my duct, and then it was in like the little branch that leads away from like where your nipple is. But like I was telling you earlier, I'd always had a fibroid breast on that side since the time I was, I don't know, 17 or 18 years old, that I noticed it for the first time. I mean, it's always, since I developed, it always been a little harder on this side than this side. Anyway, and you guys know that when I discovered it, it was because I was getting my leg looked, or I was having an ultrasound done on my left leg, because I do a lot of sitting, and it's not just here, it's also at work. And my foot kept swelling up. Well, we weren't sure if it was my diabetes taken or some of the gout. And no, you don't have to be a drinker to get gout. It can be just rich foods and stuff like that. But anyway, so I had the ultrasound done on my leg, and that was clean. But I knew my insurance also covered a mammogram. And this is where early detection is really important, ladies. You know, something I had noticed after I spoke with my doctors about this, and the surgeon and that, my cat kept sticking her face in my armpit on the very side of the breast cancer. And I never thought much of it. I always thought she just liked to nudge up in there where it's nice and warm, and, you know, like to smell my armpit, I guess. But it's funny now that I think about it, that's exactly where the cancer had leaked into 2 of the 4 lymph nodes that they had taken. You know, once it goes into the lymph nodes, it pretty much floats through your whole body. If it had just stayed in the breast, it would have been like stage 1. But since it leaked into the lymph nodes, and thank God it was only 2 of the 4 that they took out, because you have a whole slew of them up in here. So it could have went, you know, anywhere after that. But anyway, getting back to yesterday was my first day. I got there. My appointment was for 9:30, but had to talk to the doctor first, and we had to go through, you know, what was going to happen and what to look for, and some of the signs of my body being beat up by these drugs. And she said that diarrhea would be one, and nausea would be the other 2 that is most concerning, and dehydration, since I take a diuretic with my blood pressure pill. And then on top of it, the metformin, which is my diabetes drug, also has kind of a diuretic effect. Stay away from things that are going to dehydrate me, like iced tea and, you know, those kinds of things. So anyway, I went in yesterday, and they finally got me started about 11. And the first one was Taxotere, and that lasted, you know, they say it's supposed to take an hour and a half, and that one did the first time, but next time it'll be a little shorter. And I didn't really feel too much from that. And then they flushed me through my port, because I have a port up here. You can see that. I just got out of the shower. Needed to. It's very important that you get the house clean too. I had my daughter-in-law come over today and disinfect all the doorknobs, and you know, do the bathroom really good, and the floors really good with Lysol and bleach, and got all the laundry washed up, and all the cat boxes, you know, because we're not supposed to touch the cat litter boxes after this. So I've got to have somebody come in every couple days and scoop the litter, you know, or put a mask on, something. But I figure if worst comes to worst, I'll get the kid next door to come over and scoop poop. You know, it's worth $10 to have them do that. The next drug was Progetta, and that was not too bad. I got kind of a little heart murmur at it, kind of a heart weird wacko thing on that one for a couple of minutes. And but all in all, you know, it went really well. I mean, I took my headset radio and listened to that for a little while, and then I got, you know, kind of comfortable with the people around me and met some really nice folks. And, you know, oh yeah, the third drug was that Herceptin, man. And that's the one that makes you lose your hair. So she told me that. Some people's hair never grows back from some of the side effects. But so far, like I said, you guys have seen me before. My hair was longer. It was down to my shoulders. And I just went ahead and cut it off. I thought, you know, I'm not going to cry over my hair. I didn't cry over my breast being gone. I'm certainly not going to cry over my hair. My husband and I have been married long enough to know that, you know, I asked him, I said, you know what, I could skip all this and just, you know, fade away, or, you know, it's up to you. But he said, my health and me, that I'm more important than, you know, my boobs or my hair. So that, you know, relieved me greatly that he wasn't going to just bag ass on me and leave me to do this on my own. But anyway, after each one of those, they'll do a flush on you, and your arm gets kind of cold, and they'll start you out with Benadryl, and that's kind of to adverse any side effects from the chemo. And you might want to get some of that and keep it at home. But they give you pretty good medications for nausea, and it works out to where there's like 3 of them. To the first one, if it's not stopping you from being nauseated, go to number 2. And if you're still nauseated, go to number 3. Then there's a pill that you take every day while you're on chemo. And I think that was what they called the steroid aspect of it. So you take that twice a day. I took one, I don't know, like 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, and then I took one just before dinner. I haven't started with the diarrhea yet. I don't have a headache yet. I haven't had any wanting to throw up or anything like that. Of course, I'm staying pretty close to the, you know, regimen that they gave me before I left. And quite frankly, I ate real good today. I mean, I had a bowl of cereal this morning, and took my metformin, and then for lunch I had 1.5 sandwiches of sliced tomatoes with mayonnaise. I grew up on that. That's the southern girl in me. My folks, you know, used to grow tomatoes, and we'd have tomato sandwiches all the time, you know, because there wasn't a lot of meat in the house, but tomato sandwiches were always good to have around. And then for dinner, I had half a chicken fried steak, a little bit of macaroni and cheese, homemade, and little bit of garlic potato, and then corn and peas mixed. And I'm pretty full. I mean, I'm eating, and I still have an appetite. Of course, this is day 1, and my nurse called me earlier, and she said that if it was going to get, you know, bad for me, it would start either tonight or tomorrow. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I don't, you know, right now I feel pretty good. I mean, my body is tired, and we worked hard on getting the house clean, and, you know, trying to disinfect as much as we could. And I figure over this next few months, rather than get out there and risk germs in the world with doorknobs and things like that, I'm going to stick around the house as much as I can. I've pretty much become kind of a shut-in anyway. I have really no desire to go sit in big old public places or anything like that. And then the last drug, I think I just told you that, was that Herceptin. Yeah, I told you that. And they also gave me a list of, what do you call it? Yeah, every 4 to 6 hours on one. Step 3, that was really helpful. Of that, her name was John. I'd never met one like that a woman named that, and she's my nurse, and she'll be doing her treatments about the same time as I'm doing my treatments, because she's sick too. And that was really astounding to me, because it reminded me of a story that, I think my grandma told me, and she said, I cried because I had no shoes until I met the man who had no feet. So it was really a sobering experience, meeting, all the different people that I met there, different ages, different, cancers, and, some were just really, really sad. I mean, the gal that I was sitting next to, I visited with her when she woke up. She was pretty tired when she got there. And I think this is her second bout of cancer. So she's fought it once before. And these people are tired, and I think her husband said that they've spent almost $3 million on her treatment alone. And she was 52. She's 3 years younger than I am. And it started out as breast cancer. And I didn't get real particular with her, but whatever happened, it ended up spreading to her brain. So now she's got brain cancer. And I don't know, it's kind of like a walking death. And then I met a couple of the guys that were there. One had waiting on getting stem cell transfer, and another one who had it done, and it only lasted a year for him. But the one guy that was sitting next to me, Bobby, he's his partner, because he's gay, but hell, I knew that right off. I could tell, but he was such a wonderful person and very open and funny, and I hit it off with him like best friends for 20 years. We talked about Elton John and music and things that we grew up in the 80s, and what the hell is wrong with today's society when these kids are walking around with pussy hats on their heads and boycotting everybody because they're offended by some Paul Revere statue or whatever. But these kids would never make it through our ear. We'd all call them sissies. But anyway, he was great to meet, and Dusty was really great to meet, and one of the old couples really touched me deep. He was a diesel mechanic for 33 years, and they should be setting off, they should be off in their Winnebago, driving down the highway, seeing America, like the old song, 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses. And sorry, but I think I felt their pain more than I felt mine at the moment. But anyway, this is day 1, or day 2 now. And I'm getting a little bit of a scratchy throat, but I think it's because I'm still smoking. I talked to my doctor about that too. I said, I can do one thing at a time right now. And that one thing at a time right now is trying to make it through these appointments and not get sick. And so far, so good. And we'll know here in a little while. I'm waiting on this little button deal. And it's like the shot you get after you do chemo. You can either go back the next day and get a shot in your stomach, or you can wear one of these. And I chose to go ahead and wear this one. Well, it finally quit clicking. And I think about 9 or 10 o'clock I can peel it off. And it doesn't hurt. You can get in the shower with it, and it's not a big deal. But I just watched a video, and thank God, there's women out there like me that think making a video of something like this is pretty important for the younger girls. I did learn something out of all of this. Mine was estrogen fed. And it's just funny that 2 years ago I had a hysterectomy done, but I kept my ovaries. And what do you think fed the cancer? The estrogen from my ovaries. Can you believe that? So who knows? If I'd have went ahead and full-blown hysterectomy and had them take everything, I may not have came up with the cancer at all. So there you go. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. The only reason I kept them is I thought I'd need them to go through the change. Because I didn't want to go on that HRT stuff, because we know that causes cancer. And here you keep your own gear, and you end up with the shit anyway. So, anyway, I just wanted to tell you it is day one, and I don't feel too bad. I ate pretty good. I met some really good people. You know, if you're out there and you're sitting around being a bored housewife and you've been through this, volunteer. You know, one of the gals that volunteered up there is a really prominent family patriarch, and she's got all the money in the world, and she lost her husband a few years ago, and you know, she come over to me, and I was like, oh my God, hi, and you know, we talked about some of the high class folks in this town, because she's, you know, pretty much one of them, and she brought me over a couple of camisoles that, you know, you can pack little boobies in them, and you know, look like a normal woman. I took 2 sets, thinking that the larger one would be the one I could wear, but they're both too tight for me. So I'm going to give one to one of my dear friends who had breast cancer and only had one boob removed. And I'm going to let her pick which one she wants, whether it's the big boobie for the other side. I think the big one will match what's still on her chest. And then another girlfriend of mine, her sister had just gone through this about 1.5 years ago, and she got one boobie. So I'll split the camisoles, give each one a camisole and each one a boobie, so that they, if when they want to go to church or, you know, their son's weddings or whatnot, they can shove a boobie in the other part of the camisole. And I'll ask this lady if I can get one maybe in a 2X, because I'm a big girl, and those are they don't stretch like I thought they would. And I can't wear anything restrictive. You know, it's just, I've always been that way. My clothes have to be a certain amount of baggy, or they have to be really tailor-made to where I can move in them. I'm still a little sore up under here, and I got a pretty good knot from where the scar is going to be. This side's pretty much down, but it's still sore and tender. You got to figure, this side over here, I had that lappendectomy first, and then a week later I had the whole thing cut off. So it took quite the hammering on it. And I'm going to be sore for a while. I haven't had my first bowel movement yet either. I'm getting a little worried about that. I don't know if I should take some of my laxative or not. But if I might, before I go to bed, take a swig, just because I know I ate a lot today and it needs to come out. But I'd hate to get started on doing the laxative thing and then have diarrhea come on in the morning, you know, and not be able to stop it, turn it into uncontrollable. So I thought maybe I should call my doctor. But if I just take a little bit and not a big old swig, I think I'll be all right. So I'm going to do that here before I go to bed, because it's milk up magnesia. It seemed, you know, I got that directly from the surgeon's mouth. You get constipation, don't dick around with that Correctol and, you know, all that other crap. Just take a good, you know, 30.33 or something. It's like the bottom of the cup that they come with. That much in about 6 or 7 hours. When you wake up, you should have a normal bowel movement. Maybe a little runny, but it'll clear up pretty quickly. And I don't know. Sorry to make this video so long, but I haven't done one in a few days because I was pretty tired from yesterday. I slept like a big dog, excuse me. And today I ate like a big dog. And I'm finally getting tired. I took a hydrocodone because I'm still hurting. And I didn't come home with really any painkillers. The one number 3 will make you drowsy, and what's that, lorazepam, and nausea. It'll make you tired. Yeah, but that's just, you know, the same thing. It's nausea and constipation is like your biggest enemy. Nausea and vomiting and diarrhea are like your big enemies right now for me. I checked my temperature. It was 95.6 or something like that. Mouth sores. Okay, they say diarrhea is 3 or more watery bowel movements. per day, which are not controlled by over-the-counter Imodium. So numbness or tingling in the hands, sudden skin changes. Anyway, you can call them and ask them. I'm really impressed with some of the staff up there. It's just, you know, it's so new, and you happen to learn everything every time you go up there. But anyway, with that, I'm in pretty good spirits and just kind of groggy, I think you can tell. But stay safe, ladies, and be sure to get those mammograms. Go every year, man. If it's on the insurance or not, you got to get them done. And pay attention to your animals. You know, I don't know, it's weird to me, but I'm a firm believer now that, you know, dogs can sniff out cancer. I think cats can too. And keep a good face, and make sure you build some angels around you. You're going to be amazed at the people. And I built like 5 of them. So nobody gets tired of doing any one thing for me. You know, like I have the kid next door that'll go to the grocery store and, you know, feed the birds outside, my geese, and take care of the animals. And then I have one that'll, you know, come over and clean the house and do the dishes and, you know, scrub the toilets and sinks and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I have one that I just call to, you know, because she had been through this, and she just got her clean bill of health, and she's going to be good. She doesn't have to go back for a year. And I call her for advice on, you know, how do I deal with this or that, and, you know, or just to get it off my chest. And then, you know, you make a circle of really good friends, and nobody gets tired, you know, or goes, oh no, it's Judy, I wonder what she needs now, you know, because you don't want to wear those out, and you don't want to take advantage of people. I try to, you know, kick them back a few bucks for doing stuff for me too, you know, at least pay for their gas, because I'm outside of town, and, you know, they have to drive out here, and it shouldn't cost them to do me a favor. So I always make sure I give them at least gas money. And if they clean the house, I'll kick, like my daughter-in-law, you know, her and my son do really well, but I still like to give her enough money to maybe stop and get a pizza or something for dinner on the way home. But anyway, with that, this is 22 minutes and 24 seconds long. This is Amazon Jude checking out from, oh no, not checking out, checking in to life in Casper, Wyoming.